Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy Friday.
Hey everyone, happy Finance Friday.
We got another good letter today. Appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. We're going to give people a few minutes to all get on here.
Yes, as always, I'm always checking because I feel like week after week, um, I'm always like, let me double check and just make sure that we're live just in case. But yes, we are live. So welcome everyone. Come on into the chat. We're going to give you guys a few moments to come in before we get started on this letter because hopefully we have a lot of people that are interested in this letter. Hey, Julesy. Thanks for joining us. Hey, Ada.
Hey,
Thanks for
Jules.
being
Hey, Ada. We appreciate y'all. How you guys feeling today?
So we're gonna have another good conversation. And I'm gonna start this episode and have it on recording by saying that Monte is my son. Do you know I did an interview on a podcast recently? Shout out to Rue. I was on Be True with Rue recently. Oh, Jolie says she's tired. I was tired too earlier. That's why I took a little nap. Hey Jordan, thanks for joining us.
Hey, Jordan.
Hey Monte. Hey Dr. Lydia, thanks for joining us. Yes, shout out to Rue. I was on Rue's podcast, and if you have not watched, go to Rue's page. We had a great conversation just talking about, my journey, my life, how I got started, etc. And Rue was like, that was your son that you are on the show with? And I was just like, yes, Monte is my son. And she was just like, I never knew that was your son. And I was like, I thought that I say this is my son all the time. But if I don't say it, I'm going to keep saying now every episode, I'm going to be reminded to say, Monte is my oldest son, guys. This is my son. Ada says she's sleepy too, waiting for the family to get out the movies. Okay. I was tired today. I'll be honest. I don't take naps often, but I definitely took a nap today. I don't know if it's the 40 plus. I don't know what it is, but every now and then I have to take me a quick little nap. Hey, Malaysia. Thanks for joining us.
She's talking about the 40 plus. What's up, lady? Love you more. She's talking about the 40 plus.
I don't know. I was asking somebody earlier this week. I was like, am I supposed to be like perimenopause? I don't know what to call it. I don't feel like I have any of those symptoms. Don't get me wrong. I don't have any of those. I feel perfectly fine, but I get a little tired. And I feel like most people around this age are coffee drinkers or things like that. And I don't drink coffee. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do any of those things. So I just take like a B12 or a B6 vitamin, and I used to get the injection. So I was just saying this week, I think I was telling Dr. Lydia this, that I might need to go get you know how they do the drip, the IV drip.
Yeah,
IV. I may have to do that because I definitely get tired. Maybe just because I'm busy or productive all the time and I have a lot going on, but I get very sleepy some days. And what I've learned to do, I will say this, what I've learned to do is, at 40 plus, then I just kind of take a little nap. I don't push myself to the limit. I'm not as productive when I'm that tired. So I advise everyone, take a little moment of sleep. You don't have to sleep the day away. That's one of those, when you really, really tired, you sleep the day away. But sometimes I, 2 or 3 times a year, I get me a little daytime nap and today was one of those days where I think I took a nap for maybe an hour before Jules was yelling.
You never really take a nap.
Yeah, I never really take a nap. This is something new for me. So it always feels like when I take a nap, like I'm not being productive or like I did something wrong. But no, I need to rest. So it is what it is. But thank you everyone for joining us. We have a really, really good letter today. I'm gonna jump right in, Monte, to the letter because technically we have been having some deep conversations and I do try to keep them around an hour. So I'm not going to chat too much to give us some time to really converse about this letter because I think it's going to be a lot of different topics that people are interested in a great conversation. So let's jump right in.
I'm ready. Let's do it.
So welcome again, everyone, to this week's episode of Finance Friday. Hey, Martise, the CEO Lounge.
What's up, Tease? Where my father at? Where my pops at? I got all my siblings on here. Where Rome at? He called me earlier.
Yeah, he probably about to check in a minute. I think he went to work out or something too. Julie just came in from the gym. Yes, Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge, and I am your host, Dr. Ebony MacArthur, and I'm here with my son. This is my oldest son.
I'm Monte, everybody. I am brand CEO, the one and only, the mental health guy, live in the flesh. I'm here. I'm ready.
Yes, absolutely.
Excited. Let's do it.
Yeah, we got a good letter. So the subject of this week's letter is, Jordan said, I know it's going to be a great episode. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you, Jordan. Tell your sister stop stealing my workouts, Jordan.
Yeah, everybody was
slimming down and trying to stick copy my workouts.
Yeah, the whole family. I work out early, so I've been already at the gym. Jules and Rome be doing the later stuff. I went to the gym this morning. Matter of fact, I was on the phone with Ada while I was at the gym this morning. Shout out to Ada who's on the bike talking to Ada. And I literally told her, I said, Ada, you done got me past 35, 40 minutes on this bike because we were chatting. But yes, I worked out early this morning already. But the subject of this week's letter is, I am too poor to invest in the stock market. So, yeah, so it's dear I Am Brand CEO and Dr. Eb. I tune into the show every week, and I love hearing you and I Am Brand CEO talk about building a stock portfolio and creating generational wealth. It sounds amazing, but honestly, every time I look at the stock market, I feel completely left behind. I wanted to buy into powerhouse companies like Nvidia, Apple, and Amazon so I could actually own a piece of the tech future. But when I looked up the share prices, my jaws dropped. Between my rent, groceries, and car payment, I only have about $50 to $100 a month left over that I can realistically put away. How am I supposed to build a real investment portfolio when a single share of some of these companies costs more than my entire monthly investment budget? It feels like the stock market is a playground designed exclusively for the rich, and people like me are just stuck on the sidelines. I Am Brand CEO. Since you understand the stock market and trading world, give it to me straight. Is it even worth investing if I only have $25 per paycheck to spare? And Dr. Eb, how do I overcome the mental hurdle of feeling too broke to build a legacy? Signed, Sideline on Wall Street.
Sideline on Wall Street. Yeah, that's a good one. Somebody said been looking for this subject.
Yes.
Yeah,
do you want me to start? I can definitely start, or it's up to you.
Go ahead. You can start.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to start by saying, my question was, how do you overcome the mental hurdle of feeling too broke to build a legacy? So this is what I kind of teach and preach all the time. So if you have ever seen me posting about educating our community and me being out and about, outside of my, career as a real estate broker, my goal is to try to educate as much as possible, because oftentimes people assume, and this is not just you, Sideline on Wall Street, a lot of people assume that you have to amass a certain amount of funds to even start investing. And what I always try to tell people is the best time to invest was yesterday. So, and the great thing about nowadays, which it didn't used to always be like this, is, and we don't have any promotions or sponsorships for any of these organizations or companies. So definitely, as always, do your own research on what's best for you. But because we are educating the community, then we will share some of the platforms that we utilized years ago, over a decade plus ago, to really start investing and start putting as little as $25 into investment accounts. So I love the fact now that it's a ton of companies. Like, I can remember I feel like Monte was possibly in maybe high school when I started setting up stockpile accounts for you guys, letting you guys know that you can invest as early as possible and as little as, $25, $5. Like, you can buy partial shares. I know Monte will probably talk about that. I'll let him dive into that, but you don't always have to buy a whole share of a company. The goal is to get up to that point, but you can start investing in a ton of company. I mean, Robinhood, it's pretty much all of them now. I feel like you can buy partial shares. Even when it comes to Roths, like if you open a Schwab a Charles Schwab account, you don't have to have a certain minimum in order to start a Roth. And a lot of people don't know that. They just assume that they want to dive all the way in. So they don't necessarily even start until they not only have a large lump sum in their savings to start putting into a stock account, or have a substantial amount that they can consistently invest each month. And what I always recommend personally, and this is one of our personal methods that I do with, all my children, my husband, we try to do that weekly investment into all of our stock portfolios. So I'm hitting the market every single week, whether it's, no matter where it is. I don't wait until I have $500 to invest. I don't wait until I have $100 to invest. I have recurring payments that go into each of these accounts on a weekly, monthly basis. You can set it up however you please. You can change the amount. Most of the kids' accounts, since they were little, I had them set to automatically increase a certain percentage each year. So let's just say when they were 9 years old, I had it set up at $50 a month. I would have it set up for an automatic 5% increase the following year. So by the time they got of age, then we can have, by the time they became in college, so forth, then we might be up to $100, $150 a month. And then they can now invest whatever they want, but it continues to grow while they're there. And that's just an example of some numbers. But most accounts that we deal with, you can start as little as $25. I'm gonna stop and let you go there because I can go on and on. But
no, I agree. That was some good points, and I agree with everything. Like you said, it's really like a broad, question. Like I can talk about this all day. It's kind of like whatever situations fits you. Like you said, you can start. If you want to, it's different types of trading, different types of investing. Like you don't have to, look at other people's investing situation. And even if you do look at those people's situations and really sit down and ask them about it, they'll probably tell you that they started off with small accounts. There's a lot of people in trading who like to do, $10 to $100 trading, 100 to 1,000, or even compound trading just in general. So I know for specifically with Forex trading, you can start with little as $10. So, I definitely wouldn't say that you don't have enough money to trade at all, but I do like when she asked Sideline on Wall Street, she said it feels like the stock market is a playground designed exclusively for the rich. And she's exactly right. It is. So that's what we want to do. That's what we're here for. You want to play the game that the wealthy people are playing. We don't want to play the game that the broke people are playing. So we want to find out where the billionaires are, where they putting all their money at. Why when somebody sued Donald Trump, the court saying that Donald Trump don't have anything to sue him for? Like where's all his stuff at? Where's his assets? So that's the type of stuff I like to study. And one of the things when I was doing my research this week, last year, Donald Trump was talking about a tech company called Dell. And he was basically saying, that's where he's going to put his money at. And this week, Dell is up about 85, 87% total right now. So I was watching a couple podcasts, and they just were saying, put your money where the president is putting his money at. One thing he's not doing is lying, no matter what what your public beliefs
not
are.
In that subject, he not,
Yeah.
I always say about stuff. Yeah, I always say about Dr. Umar, where I'd be like, listen, everything Dr. Umar saying, I'll listen to until he talk about the school. That's what he possibly said.
Yeah.
When it comes to the stock markets, when it comes to Trump, Wall Street Trapper was talking about that. So that's why I was smiling, because I heard him say, everybody gonna hate me when I say this. I'm not saying we're not saying go vote again or none of those things, but we're saying when it comes to these billionaires, watch their every move, study what they're doing. When they talk about where they're putting their money, study it.
Yeah, and I kind of once you start getting into the space and into the field, a lot of people, it just depends. Like me, investing starting off as a hobby, and then it's kind of something let's say, I just want to, you going on a trip to Mexico or something, or you just want to have some spare time and you want to learn Spanish just to, add another language or something like that. And you just doing it as something for fun. And then you start really doing it consistently. And it's something that you end up falling in love with and stuff like that. So that's kind of how it is with investing. The more time you put into it, the more information you'll have for yourself, the more you're just going to want to okay, instead of me watching Netflix, let me turn on Market Mondays. It's a lot of information out there. So even getting on here with us for an hour every Friday is great, but it's also about systems. If you feel as though you don't have enough money, it's enough AI technology and automated systems out here where you can get on Claude, ChatGPT, any of that, and say, hey, this is, how much I make per paycheck. This is how much I have left over. What are some stocks that? And next week, I actually did read this letter earlier, honestly, and I could have had a bunch of stocks that was like under $100 to invest in. So I'll make sure I got those for y'all next week. But I do have some like different stocks and stuff that I wanted to like touch on just small. But yeah, it's definitely stocks you can buy for under $100. And like you were saying, I literally was in middle school when my mom first told me to buy AMD stock. I think AMD was like $36 or $42. I remember like it was yesterday, and we was literally talking about it. Like, yeah, it's just $42. Go buy a share. And now I believe AMD, if I'm not mistaken, is almost at like $516 or something like that, and it's on the downtrend right now. So that's not even the highest, like it's all time high. So definitely, I would say get a system in place, like something that works for you. Compound
Hey
investing.
Dawn, welcome. Hey Dawn, welcome. Thanks for
Oh, hey
joining
Don,
us.
thank you guys for tuning in. But yes, compound investing. So even the big shares, Google, stuff like that, even like we were saying a couple episodes ago, Draymond Green even said, who has $100,000 over there to just invest $100 million? Like nobody just have that type of money sitting around. Even if you are rich, your money is probably working for you or doing something else. So compound investing, like if you only have $25, put your $25 in. Once you do it 4 times, now you got $100. So you just easing your way up brick by brick to get closer to that one share. And as the stock go up, your money is going to still compound itself while it's in there, so that you can put in that $25. Like I had instances before, I put $100 into Bitcoin during the pandemic. I think I came back a year or so later, it was at $1,000. Like that might seem like it's just $1,000, but from $100, that's over 10x the return. Like sometimes for a 10x return, that might take 40 something years to do sometimes. So I feel like the stock market along with real estate is one of the best ways to like invest and create wealth through it. And that's just because a lot of the billionaires is doing it. A lot of the rich and the wealthy, they all investing in the stock market. So I'm trying to learn and invest where they putting their money at.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey Kim, good evening. Oh,
Hey Kim.
just said Dawn is CB4L. Okay. Thanks for joining us. Here's Rome. Rome's at Facts. He's here with us in the chat. We were looking for you, Rome, earlier.
Yeah, we
Everybody
was looking for
was
you.
looking for you. There he
But
go.
yeah, they were saying like, and like I said, it's like I feel like a dream, like the dream success or job is like a serial investor, serial entrepreneur, like Donald Trump. And I just keep bringing him up because he just, of course, is the president. But I feel like right now, and even since the pandemic happened, if you pay attention to the news, stuff like that, listen to what Donald Trump say, listen to what Norman Powell say, I said Norman Powell, listen to what Colin Powell saying, listen to these higher up peoples. Like when you see Donald Trump getting on, like why is he going to China, and like why does Elon Musk have to be there? Tesla must be involved. Why does the CEO of Nvidia need to be in there? They must be involved. So like I just pay attention to small stuff like that. And even though Donald Trump invests in, Trump enterprises or whatever his thing's called, real estate, a bunch of different other stuff, like you said, Wall Street Trapper, he said that Donald Trump took over almost 4,000 trades in the stock market and just in the first quarter. So it's like, but while being the president, he still got some on his team to have enough time that's putting in 4,000 trades in the stock market in order to, keep creating his wealth and investing like that. So I just pay attention to
All
stuff
these
like
things
that.
that are happening in the world, the war, all of that stuff just affects the real estate and the stock market. So, yes, we want everybody to pay attention to everything that's going on. But again, the education piece to me, again, is just always so important, because when you focus on what's happening and how it affects our economy, that's when you're able to master it. And that's why I like hitting the stock market, on a monthly or weekly basis. You know what I'm saying? I like to be buying at all times, not just holding off and waiting till you have another $100. So most of those accounts you're able to set up automatic deductions. And that's what I recommend, even if it's as low as $25, even if it's just $25 per month, set up automatic deductions so that you're able to constantly hit the market, at all times, to be buying in and buying small shares of a lot of these companies, because that's what we started. And like you said, I can remember when, like you said, it was like middle school or something, where I was just like, and shout out to Ja's not on here right now, but my friend Ja, the computer guy, He put me down with AMD a long time ago. And I think when he put me on and it was $36, he just shot me a DM that was just like, hey, Abe, check out this, put it on your watch list. And he was telling me when he first heard about it that they were coming out. So if you don't know about AMD, the little chips that they started putting into like our debit cards and our credit cards and things like that before we had the little tap chip, that's what AMD is a part of. And when Job put me on, I think at that time it was like $10 a share or something. So when it got to like 25, he inboxed me real quick. So that's why you need those kind of friends too.
Yeah.
God send me a stock in a minute. And anytime he send me something, I go in, I tell the kids, I put it in the chat, and I purchase.
Yeah, no, I also think that, speaking of just what the rich and the wealthy do, like not only do we got to study them, we got to take the steps they take as well. Like a lot of people say they want to get into investing and stuff, and they don't even have a brokerage account. So you got to first open up a brokerage account, Webull, E-Trade, Robinhood, and then you can get into IRAs, stuff like that. Like we got to start putting ourselves in position to be able to, invest and create this wealth. And also I would say, along with me saying, create a system for yourself. Like, you can go into the AI platforms, tell me your situation. This is my paycheck. This is what I have left over. Mm-hmm. Show me, 50 stocks that I would be able to invest just, $20 into or something like that. But I also will say, if you know that you only have a budget, I would, write down all your expenses and go through and see like what can I eliminate out. Because a lot of times even we might unknowingly have expenses that we don't even need. So even if you can take, cut back $30 from doing this, or okay, maybe I'll take an extra 5 minutes and don't take the tolls this week so I can save that $30 and put it towards this. So it's just little small stuff that you might gotta find in your personal, life or expenses and try to, add that towards it as well. Because I know it's a lot of people out here who, including myself, who do, unnecessary spending or might see something and buy it. It might not necessarily need it. And those little $5 and $10 start to add up. So if you really like, it just depends how bad you want it. You'll make a way for it. Like, okay, you know what? I don't need to get this bag of chips today, or I don't need, I might go extra week without getting my nails done or a haircut. Y'all see, I've been on here 2-3 weeks, don't got a haircut. Like that money got to, going other places right now. My hair be fine. It'll be all right. Right now, I'm going to take that money and go invest it. And y'all notice I said when I invested in Bitcoin, and this was just on the crypto.com app, I put $100 into Bitcoin a few years ago, and I did take it out as well. But like I said, I started with $100 and it went all the way to 1,000. So like, just imagine if you put 25 in there, and now as your money's sitting in there, it's going up. So while you're going to wait for another $25 to invest again, your $100 is now going up to 700,000, and that'll give you more leverage to start being able to invest more with. So slow and steady win the race. Don't forget that the tortoise won that.
Yeah, and I always I know Monte gives recommendations on stock watch lists. So all the time, you don't have to jump in to make a purchase also. Like watch them, learn the history of some of these stocks, go back and trace the history of some of these stocks, trace the history of some of these companies, what's up and coming. I'm so glad that you mentioned AI. Ada and I was talking about that this morning, where it's just like, when we having these conversations when Monte were in middle school, and I was telling him, check out these stocks. I'm putting it in our little group chat. I'm telling the kids, like, I'm gonna set everybody up an account. I'm gonna put $20 in there for everybody. I'm having these little light conversations. It was no such thing as all of this AI that we have. So now that we have the resources, and I always say, not only are we in the world of information, sometimes we're in a world of too much information, because sometimes people don't know what to believe, what not to believe. So do your own research. Like, you believe what you have researched and what you are comfortable now putting into some of these systems. Like Monte said, you can easily now upload your bank statement, 12 months bank statement, 6 months bank statement into Claude or ChatGPT or Gemini, any of them, Perplexity AI, it's a bunch of them, that Copilot, put your bank statements in there and tell the system, hey, track where I'm overspending for the past 6 months. Is it anywhere that I can possibly eliminate? Is it any recurring payments that are leisure payments that are not my monthly expenses, like my gas and electric, my water bill? Like, you can tell AI that literally, and the systems will get to know you. I was telling Ada that I was like, one thing I love about Claude, is that Claude has the best memory to me on getting to know who you are. Like Claude will come back and tell you about yourself that you forgot about that you told Claude 2 months ago, where it's like, utilize these resources because that's what they, use them for good. Some people are using AI for the wrong things, but they're there as a tool. So use your tools, use your resources, and actually ask the system like, hey, how much do you think I can start putting into a Roth IRA each month and still be comfortable with paying my bills, knowing that my estimate is that, this is just an example, at the end of the month, after I pay my bills, I think I only have $500 left. Get that information and then move accordingly. You don't have to listen to exactly everything AI says, but that's that tool and that support to be able to analyze your personal situation, to be able to tell you how you can get started. And again, I always believe the sooner the better. Like, it's never too late, definitely. So just because no matter what age you are, it's never too late to get started, but you want to get started like yesterday because of that compound interest, because the stock market is moving, because like Ada said, the war is coming. So the war is here. So millionaires are made during that time. Don't be afraid during this time and now be like, hey, I don't want to take a risk. I don't know what's going on. Like, don't let fear get in the way of your future, when what you should be doing at all times is making money work for you. That's what money is made to do. Like, money should not be sitting. It should be working at all times. It should be creating interest at all times. Even if it's something as small as mutual funds, like mutual funds and ETFs. Like, if you're not sure of one specific stock that you're interested in, investing in, then do a mutual fund, do a ETF and get into a bunch of different things and just, do your research too, but based off of your age, we always advise, if you want to be aggressive, if you want to be moderately aggressive, if you don't want to, lose money, possibly, if you want to just have some place where you can invest a little bit, but you want to make more money than you're losing, then maybe money market accounts, things like that. But it's just so many resources with, the proper education. So I would never say that, you don't have enough to invest. And the only thing I wanted to touch on real quick too, and then I'm gonna go to the comments because we got a bunch of comments. We haven't forgotten, but we want to get this out, and we're gonna go to the comments to read what everybody is saying in the chat. But what I wanted to add also is two things. So I always in my business group, my private Facebook group, for DMV business owners, I always am posting things like acorns. And when I have my financial literacy presentations, I always bring up acorns. Again, no sponsorship, no affiliation. They're not paying me to say this. This is just something. Monte is smiling because he knows that I literally have been putting out acorns in our family chat since they was little. Because acorns is connected to your debit card. And everybody out there is going to the grocery store, getting gas. You're doing your everyday things, and you can even take the change. So let's just say you go to the grocery store and your total is $201.15. The additional roundup from that 15 cents to $1, you can make that go into your Acorns account and start investing in the stock market. And the more you're using the debit card, because that's what people are doing, we debit crazy, we always using that debit card, you can turn around without realizing how much you spend, and you can have $700 in your Acorns account in like 30 days because you don't realize how much you're using it. And then you can also round up. So let's just say you round up times 2. So then you can even double that roundup if you want to. You can do $5 a week on a roundup. You can do $2 a week on a roundup. You can do $2 a day. It really just depends on. But at the end of this session, I'm going to put my Acorns referral link in there because I want you guys to know that the easiest way to have a little bit of stash money, I feel like Acorns is just that for me. Like, I can turn around and if I want to do something real quick, or I'm like, hey girls, y'all, I'll tell my daughters, y'all want to go up to New York for a little shopping, something. I'll look and I ain't checked my Acorns in 4 months, and my Acorns will say $2,600. I'll be like, oh, okay. And, but be careful how much you transfer in and out, because sometimes you got to pay capital gains, but it is what it is, depending on how much you grow. If you got to pay $10 in tax, you got to pay it. So do your education on that, but I'm going to put my Acorns in the chat. And the only last thing I wanted to say before we go to the chat is once I've started, my husband and I got on the path to start looking into developing a trust for our family a few years ago. what I realized, even from my attorney that was assisting at the time, is people also think trusts are for the rich. Like, it's just certain things that's associated. When you say a trust fund, baby, you just think this is a, a super rich person. That is not true. If you have any kind of assets, like, people just assume too that they don't have enough assets to put in a trust. They'll be like, when I get a little bit more stuff, I'm gonna put it in a trust. When you sit down, you have more things than you think you have. Most of the time, people just don't give themselves the credit. And I don't know why we do that to ourselves all the time. We do not give ourselves any credit at all. We just overlook all of our hard work and assume we don't have nothing. Like, you have things that need to go in a trust, primarily if you own real estate, if you have stocks, if you have any kind of assets, if you have jewelry, if you have a watch, if you have anything that you want to be able to protect that asset, then definitely look into a trust, because that's another myth, that you have to have a lot of money to get a trust. It's not true. The more you add to the trust and hire an attorney and so forth, but find someone that's within your budget. Let them know what you have, the assets that you want to start your trust, and I promise you can get started. And for some reason, if the cost is too much, I know a ton of people online. I don't have any recommendations off the top of my head, but if anybody's interested, leave the comment in the chat and I will go back, because it's one or two ladies on Instagram that I follow that specifically hold free classes to help people get started if you're interested in trust development. So I just wanted to add that too when we having this conversation about, am I too poor to do this and am I too poor to do that?
Yeah, before we jump into the chat, I just wanted to second that I believe that's exactly what Acorns is for. That I think Acorns is a great, starter app, even if you want to do it for your kids who may have that, your debit card linked to their account or to their phone or something like that, because it's just like you said, like, you won't even think of it. And I used to get notifications from Acorns, so I'll see, like, why is 10 cent keep coming? Like, they taking 10 cent, it might be $9. 25 cents, and I'm like, what is this little stuff keep coming out my account? Like, what is it? And then you'll go to look, and like you said, it'll be $500 sitting over there in 2 weeks, and you're like, oh, that's all right there. Like, now
I need that. I need that.
Yeah, I need that. So I think Acorns is definitely good. And two, I just wanted to throw out there and just say, like, I feel like the time we're living in today, if you don't have the knowledge, I feel like you either not asking enough questions or you're not looking hard enough, because there's so much resources and information out here. Like, you can just give me type in the chat any random business, ice cream cone machine or ice cream maker or something like that. I don't know nothing about making no ice cream business, but if you give me 24 hours and I'll just do some research, I can have a lot of information about how to start an ice cream business, what's the machines you can use, what's some good quality machines, some cost efficient machine. Like, it's a lot of different ways you can get information. So I feel like
remember, I was just thinking about it real quick, not to cut you off, but remember you was like in elementary school and I was trying to get you to start like a t-shirt airbrush business, because I realized that you were really good at drawing out of nowhere, where I was just like, I didn't know you can draw. I was like seeing some sketches around the house, and any other mother, I'm me, but any other mother would have been like, oh, that's so beautiful. I immediately was like, oh, we should start a business. I'm about to get the whole airbrush thing. I'm about to buy the t-shirts. I'm about to get where I was just like, oh, you got a talent around here? Oh, we about to put that talent to work. But yes, I feel like you was like in elementary school. It just made me think about that when you said the ice cream business. But yes.
Yeah, that was like 6th grade. Yeah, I remember that. Yep. I need to find my graffiti arts and craft book down here. It's somewhere in Houston, but I ain't seen it in a while. But it's somewhere around here. But yeah, I think people definitely need to, like, it's people who even, might get off this podcast today and literally hear us say, you might got to make some sacrifices if you feel like you don't have enough money to invest and stuff like that. And they'll still get off of here with a refrigerator full of food and go order a pizza for dinner just because it's Friday night and it's hot outside in Houston. Like, sometimes just because it's a nice day outside, summertime beginning, you gotta sit out because you got bigger plans. So one, it boiled down to how bad you want it and what's the heights you're willing to sacrifice to get where you want to get to, and also just getting the information. Like, it's like you just said, it's a lot of free classes out here. You can literally get on the internet and free stocks class near me or something like that, and they'll pop up, like, and you can do your
Eventbrite. Eventbrite is your friend,
yeah, like, it's so much different events out here and people that want to give out information and stuff like that. So I feel like it's just a part of getting out of your comfort zone if it's something you actually want to do, because investing, like, people use it as, like, say the word hobby and stuff a lot about different things, but I mean, everybody don't consider their hobby a hobby. Like you might tell somebody who, I don't know, is juggling balls or something. They might say that's a hobby, but if they making $5,000 a month because people just walking past putting the 20 in the thing because they keep juggling, like now I'm taking it serious. So I'm trying to figure out how can I go from 2 balls to let me juggle 3 balls because it's not really a hobby no more. So once you start to get, a passion for real estate, a passion for investing, and you start to see that $100 go to 1,000. Now you like, wait, okay, this might not be a hobby. Like let me really take
Look
my
into it.
time
Yeah.
to learn more information and knowledge behind it.
Yeah, I had someone call me earlier, and then we're gonna go to the chat. I had someone call me earlier, and I remember in 2019, I was already a landlord. Obviously, we already had investment properties, but Jerome and I hadn't started doing like major renovations. And right before COVID hit and the world shut down, we had went to like a free seminar. But a part of the free seminar, if you wanted to, Jerome and I both went. And if you wanted to really take the class to kind of deep dive and learn like step by step on, all the things of doing a full renovation on a property, like almost like development type stuff, the instructor wanted $5,000 per person. So Jerome and I was like, okay, I'm going to take it. You're going to take it with me. And we were going to put my son Martise in the class because Martise was definitely getting into, he wanted to also invest and learn to how to be a real estate investor. So we were going to pay $15,000. If Rome is still in the chat, please comment so you can confirm. We were going to pay $15,000. We had it all ready to go. I was almost begging the guy, like, when your next class, we ready to go. All of a sudden, COVID hit. When COVID hit, I went to Jerome and I said, you know what? I am going to teach myself how to do these full renovations. I'm going to learn how to do everything. I'm going to do the research. Like, we in the house now. I'm going to do nothing. I got nothing but time on my hands. We locked in here. And I am going to start teaching myself. And during that time, I had a conversation with an old friend since middle school. And out of the blue, so happened, this is where I'm telling the story, because she called me today and I haven't talked to her in years. And she said to me, I think I'm ready to start investing. And do you know, at that time in 2020, the last time I had the conversation with her, she told me that she was working in some different apartment complexes and so forth, doing like property management type stuff and inspection things. And she knew about a private lender who all of the big wigs were working with to do these like development loans where they do commercial. You can get a daycare, you can get a supermarket, you can get a nightclub, or you can get a property. She gave me his information back in 2020 and didn't know at that time that I was in heavy research. Like, I'm gonna be a developer. I'm gonna take it to the next level. I reached out to him and I've worked with him so many times since then. And it's so ironic because when she called me today, I was like, listen, the person you put me on with almost 7 years ago, I've done multiple transactions with, and fear stopped you from doing one transaction. And now it's 7 years later, and you're saying you think you're ready to get started. I was like, I still use your guy. And she was just like, really? I'm like, yeah, I just was talking to him last week. I was like, that's my guy. He's such my guy. I don't even put nobody on with my guy like that. Like, I'm like, listen, this our guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he in the Carolinas. I don't even really tell nobody about my Carolina broker down there to give me the best deals and the best interest rates. Like, he the man, you know what I'm saying? But I just thought about that when you said it, because fear sometimes will stop people. And it's like, she gave me that connection and I thought I was about to help her get started. And like I said, 7 years have passed. And since that time, I've done multiple additional properties. And now fear has so I think today when she called, shout out to her if she's listening, that she was just like, hey, I don't think I'm scared no more. I think I'm ready to get started. But the time to get started is as soon as possible. Like, just get started now, because since then, if she would have got started when I got started, like most of the properties that I bought then all had $500,000 in equity, all getting cash return. Like, that's 7 years of returns. You know what I'm saying? That somebody didn't get from multiple properties, and each one of them have amassed so much. I mean, the real estate market has gone crazy in the past 7 years. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. If she would have started then, just like we know about all the stocks, if we would have started way back then all of us would be, trillionaires.
Definitely. It's this guy named Da Vinci, and I don't know if he's the exact first person, but he's like, I've been studying stocks and stuff like this. When I first started, I started watching him a little bit. His name Da Vinci something. I follow him on social media and everything. You can type him in on YouTube. He's like a brown skin bald head older gentleman, and he's like one of the first people who actually was telling people to go buy Bitcoin when it was at like $17 or something like that, and he got like supposed to have this crazy Bitcoin portfolio. So definitely shout out to all the people that is out here overcoming their fears and not scared to take that leap of faith and stuff like that. Like it's not just guaranteed you're gonna get into a stock and your money is just going 10 times itself. No, it's a process. So definitely shout out to everybody that's doing that.
All right, we're going to go into the chat. So Ada said, when I was working, I used to take my annual raises and send it to my IRA or increase my 401k. Yeah, I always hear Ada talk about her Roth. Ever since I met Ada, I know Ada got a Roth because Ada be telling me she got that Roth. So I know she probably got some bank up in there. Yeah. Kim said, facts, docs. Thanks for commenting. I definitely appreciate it. Ada said, war makes money for millionaires all the time. Like definitely watch the history of some of these things. Like sit back and watch the history and the movement of not only the stock market, because I think Monte talked about that a few weeks ago. History has a way of repeating itself. It really is true. So, watch the market during these times of war, real estate and the stock market, and how things were and how things trended, and kind of keep an eye close on it, whether you make a move or not. Still just always, if you really want to deep dive into this finance world, it's about that watch list. It's about taking a moment to take a sit back and watch everything. Kim said, yes, that's true. Financial literacy is key. Absolutely. Jordan said, don't let fear get away from your future. Yes, Jordan. Jordan got a bunch of, I checked Jordan's little account this morning. And I said, wait a minute, who got all this money sitting over there? And it was Jordan. That she don't even know she got sitting over there. But okay, Jordan, you're amassing some money in your portfolio. Kim said, can you have just one brokerage account? No.
Yeah,
you can have a ton of different brokerage accounts. Yeah, way more. Like I said, and not only do I have a ton of different brokerage accounts, I have them with different companies. So when we mentioning all these companies, I'm mentioning them because that's who I have. It's 100 of them. It's 1,000 of them out here. I don't know the name of all of them. So when I say Stockpile, Robinhood, Acorn, Charles Schwab, Primerica, Mutual, these are all E-Trade. These are all the companies that I have brokerage accounts with. Like I will mix it up a little bit just in case one of them, is not doing well, or say one of them closed down or something happened. That's possibly the little fear in me, but I don't put all of my stuff into even one company or one brokerage account. Like I have a ton of different ones. So
my mom always say, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, no, diversify. So yes, you can definitely have more than one, and we have more than one with that one company. So say if it's one company, we're a family. So I started my kids with theirs early. So we might have 14 accounts with that one, and then have another 5 accounts with the other or something. Like,
3, 4 different of the same Webull accounts, different account sizes and stuff like that. So, and just with all the platforms, like just, you want to make different accounts as well, so you can see what works best for you. Like some trading platforms might take 3 to 5 business days for you to receive your funds. Some of them might do 48 hours. So it just depends, like I keep saying, what works for you. Like when you hear the information and when you get the information, go do your own research and go, find out for yourself. Don't just hear something about somebody and be like, oh yeah, this person did that. No, go talk to that person and find out for yourself.
Yeah, and look up fees, and research all of those things. So see what's a good fit. I always recommend, nothing that is like some kind of crazy annual or monthly fees to some crazy extent. But brokerage accounts do have, fees associated with it. But I mean, on top of that, where they charging you like $99 just to be there. You know what I'm saying? There's too many accounts that you can, sign up to for free, that you don't have to pay for things like that. Ada said, I used to buy stocks off Cash App, but would invest in stores I purchased from, fuel and beans. That's the main thing. When I was younger, I would always hear, start investing or at least watching where you shop at. If you want to put something on a watch list, what do you use on a regular basis? If you buy a bunch of Nikes, if you always shopping at Amazon, obviously you use Google all the time. If you use, some of these places, then go and look up and again, at minimum, put them on your watch list. Disney, all of those old school styles has been around forever. If this is where you invest your money on a regular basis, go add them to your watch list and go take a look at what they have going on. Obviously, since COVID, people are getting more into some of the pharmaceuticals and the tech stocks, things like that. So we do talk about those things. Oh, Ada said interested. Yeah, I'm going to add some of the, I'm going to follow up with this. So sometimes I can't comment while we're live, but I'll go back. So if you ever see me go back in the chat and I comment or leave you a comment or put something into the live chat after the show ends, and I'll go back and put a little bit of information afterwards. So go back and always rewatch. Jordan said amazing podcast. Thank you, Jordan, for
Yeah, and
still being here.
investing through Cash App, that's another, like, that's kind of like Acorns. Like, people might say it's beginner, but I mean, who is some people to say this be like, you got to start somewhere. So
You gotta
investing
start
through Cash
somewhere.
App, like, we've all invested. I mean, we all have like, if you have Cash App, like, I've invested through Cash App before as well. Like, let's say I'm sending somebody $25, something like that, and I just happen to have some leftover money on there. I might just put it in the Bitcoin or whatever. It's literally right on the Cash App app. Like, you can literally just
Yeah,
pull it right
that's
up.
why it's there to be able to, to be able to use it. That's why it's there. You can just pull it right up. Yeah, like you said, I do all those little things. So just know, like, especially with learning this, then I do all the things, so don't be afraid to do all the things. I wouldn't say when you don't know, go put $10,000 somewhere. But yes, if you are doing similar to how I said Acorns and you just rounding up your change or something like that, do it for 3 months and see what it looks like over there. Especially if Jules said Graffiti Pro. Yes, Monte and Jordan are really good with that graffiti and drawing and sketching. I'm just like, how do I get children that know how to draw like that? But yes, what I always recommend is, taking a look at those accounts, especially if you are someone that has a hard time saving on your own. So if it's very hard, if you are on here today and you know that for you to save $5,000, you just are thinking in your mind, it will never, ever happen. I don't know the last time I had that kind of money sitting that was not my bill money. You know what I'm saying? It's different from when it's your bill money sitting there. But when it's additional money that you're trying to put aside for an emergency fund or for investing, if it's hard for you to possibly save $2,000 and you don't know the last time that you were able to hold on to $2,000 that's not in your 401k, because obviously that's automatic. That's why some of this stuff got to be automatic, because most of the time in our community, the most of our money that we have saved is somewhere where it's automatically being put somewhere and you're not, it's out of sight, out of mind. So that's how you have to think about these things as well. And when I invest in the stock market, I'm always doing the long game. The same thing with real estate. I'm 40 plus. I'm in the long game. I'm not going back every other day checking if I made 10 cents and then pulling it out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't do that. So you have to allow it to, accumulate. But that's why I mentioned stockpile and Acorns, because to me, you see accumulation pretty fast over there. It's just my experience. All right, so Kim said true discipline is a must. Absolutely. Rome put all the dollar signs. Yes, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. Kim said awesome. Yes. Oh, we got Will in the chat. Hey, Will, no risk, no reward.
What's up, champ?
Absolutely. Thanks for
Appreciate
joining
you for
us,
tuning
Will.
in, my guy. Definitely appreciate y'all, man.
Yes. Ada says, start now. When I was ready and kicked fear to the curb, I've allowed my spouse's fear to stop me in my tracks and place me back into that state of mind again. I'm glad that you mentioned that, Ada, because that's not uncommon, and that's probably a letter for another day that we could definitely deep dive in, but that's not uncommon. I actually was having a call with my dad the other day, and we talked for about 2 hours, and he was just asking me things like, who is purchasing more homes? Like, what demographic? Is it more men or more women? I don't even know how the conversation got started. And then he was asking, when it comes to couples, is it one reason why, one spouse is able to, get on the loan and one is not? I was like, it's typically that it's not uncommon that we don't see a lot of people being on the same page for different reasons. Like, and I think a lot of it may definitely be fear. And the second part is, sometimes people weren't raised to do all of these things. So, they weren't taught, it's not a big deal to them. Like, that's the only way I can really explain it. Like, it's not a big deal. And then you have another person that's like, it's a big deal to me to invest. Like, I want to be able to do this. I want to own a home. Like, it's major and it's something that I want to accomplish. And then you'll see the other person that's like, I mean, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't. And most of that does come with fear and the lack of education. So,
yeah,
and I know Ada's always pushing, for the best. So stay on top of everybody, Ada.
Yeah, and I'm the type of person where I'm like, I mean, like you said, it might be people who don't like, might not have the knowledge, or people around you might like, not really so. But like I said, go try and do things yourself. Like my mom already been teaching us about investing and stuff like that. But then once my household seen like me actually up there trading every day, every single time I'm teaching somebody how to trade, do stuff like that, and seeing you get into it, like they'll start to come around more, and you might make it cool for that person that might have, gave it the cold shoulder, or wasn't, it's just a little hobby or something like that. Like I believe that I'm one of the few people at my age, or my generation, coming out of my class, that openly talks about mental health. I'm a huge black man, and I'm not scared to talk about emotions and how people feeling and stuff like that. And I feel like I'm one of the pioneers that, I'm not one of the first people ever, but for the people who I
When
be
he say
around.
huge, Monte is really tall. He's just sitting down, but Monte is like 4 or 6
Yeah,
five,
people
so
don't.
he's
It's not
tall.
this big guy just ready to come up to you, ask how
Yeah.
you feeling without asking for nothing in return. So it's the same for investing and business and stuff like that. Sometimes you got to make stuff cool. Like everybody, people used to laugh at the forex guys. If somebody come in your DM and say, "Hey, you want to join forex?" People laughing at you like, "You do forex?" Like, "Oh, you one of them forex guys?" Until they see that you just made $750 in 7 minutes off of your phone. Now it's like, how you did that? The forex thing he was laughing about. So sometimes you
Mhm.
gotta do stuff yourself, and then once make people a believer. That's what my dad used to say: make them a believer. Like once you start showing them you invest in, and showing them, hey, I just flipped this $100 to 500. That's a 400 4 times gain. Like then they'll start to want to invest, or how can I set up an account? Now they easing to see. You said this how you do the E-Trade, this how you set it up. Like they gonna start wanting to know like how are you doing this. So sometimes even if people around you might not necessarily have the information to know what it is you're doing, or know like the possibility it can lead to, like you might gotta just lead by example and do it yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Like it's not a right or wrong thing when you have the idea and you have the passion and then someone else doesn't. Like oftentimes, maybe even when they see that you really are doing it, then they like you said, Monte, now they like, all right, show me, and now they want to be a part of it. So then it might feel like, oh, they weren't interested when I was interested, and that's fine. Like that's what, just know that that is a-okay, that it's your idea, it's your thought. And once someone else is comfortable with it, because they might have that fear, then you may be able to pull your whole family in. And that's how, I was able, somebody was telling me this week, they was like, saying the same thing again, because I think you be making your kids do all of this. I was like, listen, you can talk to my kids at any given time. Like all we do is we've been talking about this stuff for years. Like I don't have to make them want to make money. Who do you have to make?
No, she don't. I
Who
literally
do
just
you
talked
have
to
to
my
do
younger brother that just graduated college last week, and we was just on the phone, or might have been texting or something. I'm like, yo, I ain't gonna lie. You see how mommy and Rome got them transactions? Like, we need to get on that. We was talking about Airbnbs, and like, it's contagious. Like,
Yes.
yeah, who wants to? You see somebody making this amount of money, you're not just ready to sit there eating your
You
chips. Like,
hang
oh,
out with
like,
non-broke,
no, I'm
unmotivated people,
trying.
you're gonna be the
Let me
10th.
get
You
this
hang
real
out with
estate. Like,
non-motivated people that are out there getting it, grinding, then you will be the 10th. Like it's really that easy. And speaking of that, I owe Martisa a meeting. He reached out to me and was like, "Ma, I got an Airbnb idea. I wanted to run it past you, something." They over there trying to
yeah, we was talking about it, and not feeling discouraged. Like I feel like a lot of people be too scared to fail, or like scared to.
Mhm.
I'm behind. I know in the letter she said she felt like she was late to investing, or like she didn't start early enough. Well, guess what? If you don't start today, the stock's going to just keep going up. So
Keep going up.
if you start in 10 years, you think they're gonna wait for you to go ahead, or you think you're really gonna be late then?
Oh,
So it's
that really grinds my gears in real estate.
like,
When somebody is like, I'm not buying no house right now. You see these home prices? Well, have they gone down since the
okay,
1960s, since the
wait till they all come with a
1970s,
robot inside of them. Now, how much you think
80s?
they about
Like,
to cost?
yes, tell me the year that your neighborhood went back to the original prices. And they'll say, when I used to buy around here, these homes was 200,000. They going for 600,000. Well, tell me the year that you seen them go back to 200. I only seen them going up. So if you don't get in where you fit in, next thing you know, they're gonna be at 800. So you better get on this wave as soon as possible. And it really like get in as soon as you possibly can, no matter what, no matter what age, if you haven't started yet, get in small, large, medium investing, whatever, like whatever you can do, start educating yourself and definitely get yourself in the door. All right, I'm gonna go back to the chat again, Monte. So Ada said, however, I have to find or create money to operate without fear so that it doesn't affect the family's joint finances. I agree with that. So that's why I said when we talked about the AI and things like that and utilizing those tools to find some of those loopholes, I mean, plenty of episodes ago, Monte and I talked about when our family used to have this Pizza Friday thing. And we always bring this up because it's a true story. We were spending hundreds of dollars on pizza and wings every single Friday. And we thought it was a break for me. You know, I'm a busy mom, I'm running with the kids. We literally thought that it was like Rome actually was like, okay, this is a treat for the family to help my wife out a little bit. So we'll do this. All the kids are excited. They were much younger at the time. Yay, let's have pizza every Friday. You know, I don't have to cook. And I knew that was something that was a weight off of my shoulder. Pizza Friday started taking so much money out of our account. I was like, absolutely not. Pizza Friday is getting shut all the way down. And we started realizing, I started going through my finances, and this is before ChatGPT. I started pulling the bank statements, looking for weaknesses, looking for where we can gain some money back because we wanted to start getting some more properties. And it wasn't that we didn't have at the time, but like you said, we're looking for the extra, like where can I put a little bit of extra monies that's not going to affect our day to day. That's what everybody's looking for. And the first place I went was to that daggone Pizza Friday, and we was able to put in a month's time that was $500 or $600 extra dollars between, you know, every time you're ordering from Pizza Hut and stuffed crust and wings and all of that stuff was adding up so quickly. And we're a family of 6. And I was just like, absolutely not. Pizza Friday is shut down. And now it's like a laughing joke to us where it's just like, we can't believe that we were spending that much money a month on pizza and wings. So just definitely look into your finances. Or let me add this. This is what people don't recognize is that if you cannot find that extra money within your finances, sometimes the answer is additional income. I feel like people don't talk about that enough. If you cannot find those things to put a little investment aside, then maybe create an additional stream of income. Where
My
that
generation is the most I'm not working a job generation I've ever seen. Nobody out here that's my age or younger want to work for nobody. They don't want to.
everybody want to be an entrepreneur.
Like I even be telling people, like, I mean, choose your hard. Like, it's hard to invest, it's hard to save money, it's also hard being broke. So what you want to do?
Yeah. People do not talk about that. Additional income is sometimes required. So, and there's so many ways to make additional income. I was literally just telling my children that my pages on social media have been able to monetize for several months. And I've been just working on like automation and monetizing. So if you see me increasing content, it's because I can monetize off my page. And I saw like a little challenge that came up on Facebook that was like, if you post 11 reels in the next 7 days that are at least 30 seconds long, it was like $80 or something like that. And I was just like, oh, okay, challenge for $80. I was posting them reels, getting them reels out. And definitely my payout for May has increased by $80 because I definitely was getting my reels out. And I feel like we're just in an age where it's so many different ways to make money. I mean, I know Ada has a whole merch line. She sells all types of things. She has her organization, you know, people have subscriptions. It's just so many different ways. So tap into the creative that you already have. It's not always making additional money by picking up a part-time job and slaving some more and doing more hours, taking more time away from your family. It could be something that you can do, you know, everyday things that you can possibly make money of. It just takes a little bit of thinking, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of consistency to be able to possibly add that additional income. And that can be your investment money.
Yeah, create that system for yourself. We got some more comments as well.
Yeah, we got more comments.
We appreciate all the engagement, y'all.
Miss Trailblazer B said, great discussion. Start where you are. Yes, start where you are. Don't not start because you're trying to be perfect. Start exactly where you are. She also said automate investing and savings. Definitely automate. Do monthly, weekly, whatever deposits. Oh, hey, my friend Marco is here. This information is necessary for our community. Appreciate you all willingness to share what financial freedom looks like. Thank you again for joining us. I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, I love to have these conversations with my son and I love that my other kids and my husband are in the chat because they will tell you, I've been putting this stuff out to them for so long, and it's just something that they were able to grasp at a young age to be able to know the importance of it. And more than anything, they know the importance of it because even if they were too young to understand, once they got even old enough to possibly know what money is, how to spend it, then they know, like, wait a minute, I got a little money over in that account mommy made for me. You know what I'm saying? They all know about their accounts. Like, they all know that we have a little something set up for them, and they all know that they continue to add to it and to grow, etc. Ms. Kim said, awesome information. Yes, just started my Acorns account. Okay, Acorns. Again, I'm not a sponsor of Acorns, but I love
Okay,
Acorns.
Kim, shout out to you.
Yes. Miss Trailblazer B said proximity is power. Absolutely. Ada said, let's not forget the budget app you created, Dr. MacArthur. You know, Ada, that's why I got you in here to remind me to talk my, you know what I'm saying? You know, I don't pop my stuff and I be trying to be humble. But yes, I created an automatic Google template that is a budget template sheet. It is on my it's linked in my bio, and it's only $19.99. I developed it maybe a year or two ago, but it will tell you your debt payoff date. You can put all your bills inside. It is all automated. You can put it in all of your credit cards, your interest rates, your minimum payments, everything. And it will not only help you create a saving and a budget plan, but it will tell you, just like I said, your debt payoff. So if you're looking to be debt free, financially free, the system will tell you based off of everything that you have now, this is the year. Even if you only can make minimum payments, let's just say you cannot make anything extra, the system will be able to tell you this is the date that all of these items will be paid off, making a minimum payment. So yes, go check out my Google automated budget template online. You can purchase it. You can download it to your laptop, start putting in your information. You don't need only AI. Tap into Dr. MacArthur's resources as well. Will said, I'm telling you, LOL. Thanks again for being here, Will. Ms. Kim said that's true. Will also said 80% of our generation really thinks they can sit in the house and wake up to six figures. Listen, Will.
I'm telling you. I've been around.
Do you know how many young people feel like they're so behind because they're not a millionaire already? You know, I used to always fuss at my kids about that. I'd be like, listen, you're 20. You're not supposed to have all the answers. And this, I'm going to say this real quick before we get to the rest of the comments. Stop telling these young people when they go off to college and they decide to change their mind about what their major is when they turn 30, that it was a waste of a college degree and now I don't even work in my major. That is not a waste. When kids are going to school at 17, Monte went off to college when he was 17 years old. When he graduated from college, he was 21 years old, off in another state, living as a basketball player at Penn State University, trying to find his way through life. And yes, he does still work in his field. He's always worked in the mental health field and the field of psychology. So kudos to him. But if someone changes their mind when they turn 40, that is not a waste. People don't have all the answers when they're 17, 18, and 19, more or less 40, more or less 30. Allow people to grow. It's never a waste. Whatever tools and whatever resources they learned along the way, I promise you they're taking them with them as they continue their journey in the next chapter. It is not a waste. Stop telling people that. Please stop telling people that. And you do not have to be a millionaire at 21. I know social media is telling y'all that because you see these young people on a private jet. You know, I don't know what all that foolishness is, but you do not have to.
Wow challenge.
Yes, you do not have to do that. You know, I know Young Miami got her song out. Everybody thinking they're a millionaire right now. Everybody is scammers. And I mean, it's a bunch of foolishness happening right now. So stay off of that stuff. You know, I always say, my kids know I haven't even watched a television show in like 4 years. I just don't put that stuff in my brain. I feel like I'm too much in a building, growing stage of my life. I'm trying to educate myself as much as possible. So I just don't even put foolishness into my head. So when you ask me what's happening on Power or something, I have no clue. I don't even watch any of that stuff. I don't even turn the television on. I'm typically just reading in podcasts, possibly on my phone for interactions with other humans, but not necessarily. I don't sit in front of the television looking at foolishness. So yes, as Kim said, teach Doc. Thank you. And Miss Trailblazer B said, congrats, Miss Kim. Yes, congrats. Ada also said, please share this podcast outside of your inner circle. Sharing is caring. Yes, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. We about to make Ada a moderator because she telling us all the stuff that we forgot to say.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Ada.
Yes,
Definitely.
please like, share, and subscribe. Please share it out on your channel so everybody else on your pages, so everyone else can get this great information. Will said, can say a 24-26, we beat ourselves up about it. Exactly. Like, don't beat yourself up. Don't think it's too late to even start. Don't think I can't start because I'm too old. I don't have the money. Just get started. I think Miss Trailblazer said that in the comments earlier. Just start get in where you fit in and just get started. Will also said, just knew I was supposed to be seeing $500,000 by then, but God said, no, you're not even putting no groundwork in. Yeah, put in the groundwork. I don't know how to teach people how to get rich quick either. That's something I don't teach. I teach people how to work hard and how to stay consistent, how to stay determined. I don't know how to teach people how to get rich quick. Ms. Trailblazer said, that's the influence of social media. Youth is challenged to think there is the same position as their parents or elders. Thank you. Am I the only one that's seeing that? Like, children are comparing themselves to people that are like 50 or 60 years old. And I like when the memes come out that says, Jeff Bezos didn't start Amazon till 42, and Walt Disney didn't start. Like, how you see those? I really like when people put those out, because stop thinking that you're going to have
that. And some of these big influencers and stuff, like whenever everybody's birthday come around on Instagram, they be like, yeah, happy 41st birthday. Like, you 41? Like, hey, I thought you was like 29 or something. I'm thinking that most people be 33, mid-30s, mid-40s, like upper half. So I heard
she said, Mr. Trailblazer said it's definitely impact of social media pressure. That's what I think also. And I always, when I go out and I am speaking at some of the local high schools, Ada has heard me say this when I'm out at Carver. I always say, especially to the young people, do what you got to do now so that you can do what you want to do later. That's just something that my dad taught me early on. So I try to be focused and do what I want to do. Do what I gotta do in the earlier ages. Educate yourself as much as possible. So if you in your 20s, it's not the time to be saying, I want to be a millionaire, I gotta be a millionaire. Educate yourself. Use your 20s to educate yourself, grind it out, be consistent as possible. And then in your 30s, use all that education, all that knowledge, and then start, now you can now implement as much as possible. And if you get a little earlier start with investing, that's fine as well, because that's what it's here for. So that's why when you have the information, invest as early as possible, because that's how you really going to grow your money. You're never going to work yourself into being wealthy. Just know that. It's impossible. You're never going to save yourself into wealth. You're never going to just, go to your 9 to 5 over and over, and all of a sudden you wealthy. Like, unless you work for some company where your annual salary is $2 billion, you know what I'm saying? Like, people have that amount of money because they invest. So Ada also said, I'm being reborn again. I'm getting in line to be a MacArthur baby.
That's why I was laughing. Yeah, if y'all see me laughing, I just see some of the comments.
Oh, I didn't see that yet in the chat. Yes, come on over, Ada. Ada, you know where I live at. Come on over. Come hang out. You definitely already part of the fam.
20s is the time to explore your options, applying that education, self-discovery. Definitely self-discovery. A lot of people that's around my age, I feel like they never really sat with themselves. They need a crowd, they want somebody else's opinion, like definitely that self-discovery to find out who you are as a person, what you really like, what your purpose is here, and so forth.
Yeah, my dad and I was also in that conversation talking about like emotional intelligence. And he said he never even heard of that terminology. I said, yeah, Daddy, that's the new word now, emotional intelligence, and just being able to make sure that you're able to control your emotions. But like you said, your 20s is time to educate yourself as much as possible, explore as many options as possible. My dad used to always say, you're young. I can remember, I think I was 19 years old and I was about to pack up and move to Philly. And my dad was encouraging me because he was like, "You're young, you can go wherever you want." So when my child, graduated college at 21, and he was like, "Yeah, I think I'm gonna move to Houston," I was like, "Oh, you're young, do whatever." And everybody was saying to me, "You're not afraid, for your child to go that far. You're not afraid for him to." I'm like, "Why would I project? Even if I had a fear, which I didn't, I had prepared him for life. I was very confident in what I had done as a mom. So I'm like, but why would I project my fear on him that's trying to now explore his options, apply his education, do his self-discovery? Like, I wouldn't want to do that. Like, it's his time to shine now. I'm not 20 anymore. My time during that era is over. I'm in the next phase of life, and I would love for him to be able to shine. So we encouraged him to go off into the world and find his place and find his career and do what he needs to do, and it turned out perfectly fine. So encourage our young people as much as possible to definitely explore their options. You don't have to have all the answers today. So that's what I do love about this letter too, is that they didn't say their age, they didn't deep dive into their personal life, but just know you don't have to have all the answers, but just start where you are. Start as soon as possible, especially when it comes to investing, and educate yourself as much as possible will be my final take on everything. Anything
They did say that they watch the show every Friday, so we appreciate you for that. Hopefully you on here. If not, I'm sure you'll rewatch it.
Yes. And if anyone doesn't know the premise of the show, I'll just add before we get our last mental health minute from Monte, is that we get these letters each and every Friday, and we have our email financefridayletters@gmail.com. So if you want to send in a subject or a letter, or you have an idea, then we do take them anonymously. Let me put that into the chat. I just put it at the header of the banner. Then send in your comments, your letters, your thoughts, and we will anonymously have a conversation about them. So that's where we are getting these letters from each week. So thank you for everyone that has sent in information to this email and that's allow us to be able to have conversations like this each and every week. So continue to do that. Continue to give us some information, give us some feedback so that we can know what you guys want to talk about each and every week. I'm gonna toss it over to you, Monte, because we back over an hour again, so we're gonna wrap it up.
I know we be trying to not be so long on Fridays because we know everybody do stuff on Friday, but our audience be keeping us engaged, so we here.
Yeah, we be trying not to. Thank you so much for all y'all engagement today.
Man. I don't have nothing to do. We appreciate y'all.
Yes.
I already gave out my stock tips, so basically just make sure y'all taking the steps that the wealthy is taking. Make sure you open a brokerage account. Take it seriously. Open up more than one brokerage account. Also, you don't have to immediately start off with your own money. Most brokerage accounts have demo accounts, so you can practice trading or investing, stuff like that. Get into a demo account. Find somebody you can ask questions and information to. Somebody that's tangible you can get in touch with. And yeah, just pay attention to the news. Pay attention to where the billionaires and where the wealthy, where they putting their money at. And yeah, I kind of already gave my stocks tip. And then for my mental health tip, I like what you had said last week. I think everybody on here, would challenge y'all to take this weekend. Once y'all get off here today, reach out to somebody, shoot them a text, and just say, checking in to see how you was doing. Simple. So I think that's a good one. Don't forget to check on your strong friends.
Yeah, don't forget to check on your strong friends this week. This weekend, next week, before we meet next time, call someone that you perceive. And that's why I like to say this. Call someone that you perceive is strong. You think that, they got it all together. Most people probably are not checking in on them because, they've always been well-rounded. Check on that person this week. If they got some things going and somebody that started their business and they moving and shaking out here, they just getting started and they on their grind, and you like, man, they've been busy. I see them over there. Check on them this week. Give them a call. Make sure they okay. You let them know you don't want anything. You just was checking in on them, seeing how their mental health is. So take this week to definitely take a moment and check on your strong friends. Check on your loved ones. Love who love you, and check on your strong friends. But thank you, everyone, again for joining this episode of Finance Friday, the CEO Lounge. I'm going to say it again. I am Dr. Ebony MacArthur. This is my son. For everybody who said they did not know this was my son.
I am brand CEO, everybody.
I am brand CEO. He's my oldest son. We may get my other son back on here also. And my daughters and stuff will be always in the chat. So we're going to have to get them on one day too. But this is my oldest son. I am brand CEO. And we are so appreciative for you guys being here with us this evening. We're going to give you guys your Friday back so you can educate yourself on financial literacy. So as soon as you hang up, that means you're going to get right on ChatGPT and start Googling everything we said and start looking it up so you can create a watch list for yourself so you can start looking at some stocks. I'm going to put in the chat once we end the show today all of the brokerage accounts that I use personally, so you can start doing your research on those, as well as my Acorns referral link. So thank you guys. Don't forget to check on your strong friends. We definitely appreciate you guys.
Thank you, ladies. Appreciate everybody that's on here. We love y'all.
Yes, thank you. Love you guys.